What is up, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Heat. No, it's not Monday Night Raw or anything, but it is the number one show for Hobby Hotline's Monday Night Heat with over 200 hobby years experience in the hobby. Our new show, if you have not checked it out, tonight we got myself, Drew from Let Me Get That Potograph. We also have Dan from Mojo Break. What's going on, man?
What's up, dude? It feels like it's been a while since me and you have been on. So
it has, dude. It's been quite a bit since you and me have been on the same show.
It was right during the beginning of the Corona. And I remember you and I were sitting there talking like, hey, don't worry about it. It's going to be maybe a couple of weeks and we'll be back to normal. Right. Nothing to panic over.
Yeah, we were right about that one, all right.
Yeah.
But speaking of Corona, joining us as our third, protecting himself, obviously, with his mask on, we've got Steph from About the Cards, Junkwax Twins, as you guys would know him. What's going on, bro?
Indeed. Finally back from my vacation, shopped around, looked around, did what I need to do, and I'm actually trying to pick out a laptop at the moment, so.
Very nice.
Bring some production quality for future shows.
There you go. Well, guys, the link is in the chat. Please, as always, we want you guys to call in if there's anything you'd like to talk about, if there's any questions you have, if there's something you want to vent, if you disagree with something one of us said, which is quite possible, hit us up, or if you just have any questions. But I guess we'll start today's show, guys. What's up, Shep, 3B, everybody? Thanks for joining the show. But I guess we'll start today's show with, Topps Montgomery Club always does some pretty cool stuff. I've always said it's the best value in the hobby to get that membership, and I urge everyone to try to when you can, because some of the exclusive stuff you can get can be quite incredible, and it has some amazing resale value on the secondary market, and it's a very good program. And let's be honest, they've had some swings and misses in the past. But today, they apparently, I don't know as much about it, but maybe Shep, you can take Steph, you can take the beginning of this one. But they did announce that Bowman Sapphire is dropping.
Yep. They announced that a release date, and they said that you have to be signed in, and there's a strict cap per account that you can purchase, and they're going to be returning some if they notice that multiple are going to the same address. So it looks like they're trying to address some of the issues previously while still pulling off a successful release.
Nice. And Dan, what do you think about adding another product like this, a Bowman Sapphire, something a little different, adding yet another chromium release?
Yeah, I mean, we saw how Topps Sapphire did last year. We saw how Bowman Draft Sapphire did last year. Going into, Dominguez, Bobby Witt. There's a lot of guys to chase. We saw how the regular release of 2020 Bowman did. So I think it's a no-brainer. It does get to a point where we're going to start confusing people who do not live and breathe what we do. Like,
right.
How are people going to know, like, well, I couldn't just go into Target or Walmart and buy this Sapphire, but my buddy has a Dominguez Sapphire. How did they get it? So,
right.
And that's kind of what we're here to do. We're trying to, educate the collector and let them know. I think the pre-sale for the Montgomery collection is where I purchased that both years that they offered it, 19.
Yes.
This year. I think they should have been implementing that for the people before for the other releases that they've had. But I think they kind of nailed it with this, adding a little bit more value to the Montgomery Club.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a question, and it's I'd like both y'all's opinion on it, because I look at this and I love these releases. I think they're cool. I've always been a fan of the Sapphire, as they call it, design. I always think they're fun and they're great for PC. If you're a PC collector and a team builder, having all of them together, they all look great. But is adding all of these, you just mentioned Bowman Draft Sapphire, Topps Chrome Sapphire, all of this stuff, is it getting to a point where do you think it's going to almost water down that market, or water down possibly the original market, or is it one of those things where everything can has a place?
Well, I definitely think that if you're looking at it after the year is over with, it's really, really, really kind of hard to tell. Looking at the cards, okay, was this from Bowman? Was this from Bowman Chrome? Was this from Bowman Draft? Was this from Sapphire? Where did this come from? Mm-hmm. Now, thankfully, there's some resources that show you demo pictures and give you a checklist full on that you can compare and see, hey, BC8 came from this. But I definitely think it does water it down some, just because how many Chrome cards do we need? How many Prospect cards do we need? How many Bowman cards do we need?
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree. I agree with that. It gets to a point where it gets a little confusing for the average collector, but I think that's just the time we're in right now. These manufacturers are looking at how hot all the products are. They're going to start releasing. I can see more straight to consumer releases that they're going to be sending out there, because you look how well Panini's doing with it. I think these manufacturers wouldn't be smart to not offer these straight to consumer releases.
No, I agree. Danny Rodriguez has a great question. Do we know if Giannis has all of the Dominguez Sapphire 1-of-1s? That is a legitimate question, so I don't know. I hope not, but that's a story that I know we can possibly touch on here shortly, because it seems to definitely not be going away. But what's going on, Ziggy? How's everything going? Please, everybody, once again, the link is in the chat. This is Monday Night Heat. This is where we want to talk with you guys. So click that link, jump in. You don't even have to turn the camera on. You can just call in if you want to. No problem at all if there's anything you'd like to talk about. But with Bowman Sapphire, I think it's a good idea. I think it's, like I said, I love the Sapphire stuff. It was a cool little, this is what I think the Montgomery Club and everything, honestly, is perfectly suited for. Releases like this, something that's not some massive print run. I hope they don't turn it into something with a massive print run, but something with a smaller print run that's a little unique, that's a one-off, that has some value, that's going to have people, that's going to have some demand, that kind of rewards the people that do spend that money to get into that program, like you said.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, what's going on? Let's see. There you go. Oh, what's going on, Big John? How's it going? Hope all is well, buddy. So, I kind of wanted to, until we get a caller here in, I wanted to piggyback off of some stuff we had talked about on Saturday, and that's obviously the Giannis stuff that's been going on. And I looked at the back of a couple of Topps autographs and a couple of Panini autographs and everything, and saying that they were witnessed and by somebody or whatnot. But yet, obviously, we see with Giannis, this is, he's able to pretty much get whatever he wants, whenever he wants. You guys weren't on the show Saturday, so I'd kind of like your thoughts on this as well. And for those of you that weren't here, maybe this will give you some new information. But what do you think? What do you think about Giannis doing all of this? And do you think that? Do you see this as something where Panini's does this almost force Panini and the other companies to alter how they go about doing these autographs and getting these cards? I mean, doesn't this kind of prove that there is a major problem with whether you want to have the conspiracy theory where Luka's hot mom signed all of his cards, to whatever theory it may be? Is it about time that we have they need to be videotaped, or a rep must be there even for stickers? Is this a shining example to kind of show that we really do need to make a change?
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sure. I don't, kind of hard to say, show that I'm coming up, but no, I know that they really knock it out of the park in football, where they have all of the athletes come into a facility and they sign, and they have a picture event, and it seems to work really well. Now, I don't know what the disconnect is between the football and basketball departments for Panini is, and I certainly understand an athlete wanting a representative image or even a higher end card of his. I think maybe that's an area that the company can offer, hey, since you're signing for us, here's a few of them. Not necessarily off the print run, because those are the customer's right to try to pull. But, I mean, there's got to be something player proof.
Yes.
Give them 100.
And I can speak for, because they do have a NBA photo shoot as well.
Yeah,
and they also have a and again, those are all going to be rookie based, so it's going to be only the rookies. Giannis, obviously not a rookie now. They also have them for baseball, and I'm talking about Panini. They have a fall league, and I think they also have a spring training, which we've done both of those. They have a basketball one that is based out of New York, where it's the rookie photo shoot. They all have a lot. I mean, we're probably talking signatures on card for probably up to 5 releases. And then they have a bunch of sticker books that they have signing for future releases that they can use. So they do a great job with that. Now, getting to the vets, it's difficult. I mean, you're either going to send a Panini representative to a away game. Maybe if the Bucks play the Mavericks, you can send it in. But you got to hope that Giannis or any other Bucks player is going to be available to sit down and actually sign the cards. You don't know what their schedule is going to be. So unfortunately, sometimes you do have to send them out to get signed. Now, they do have them sign more than what they're actually going to put into the product.
Right.
They do it for replacements. If a card is damaged in shipping back to them, or if there's a claim of a damaged card, say the patch is messed up or anything like that, they have replacements where they can send out to the customer. And you've also seen products like Honors, where those are cards that essentially were going to be replacements that were never claimed, and then they use that inventory for another release.
Yes.
I would be speculating if I said I know for a fact that Giannis is taking cards that were supposed to be flawless and put in.
Right. And I understand that, and I've actually spoken to I believe it 3 people from Panini now, and I'm speaking to a 4th tomorrow about this incident. And one statement stuck out to me, and they've been really forthcoming. I'm not going to reveal any names or anything, but as we were talking through text, I was asking about that exact thing, and talking about really don't they have something in the contract that requires everything be returned? And obviously they do. But the process of if something doesn't come back, like let's say the 1 of 1 or something does not come back, the process is their acquisition team works with the agencies to figure out what to do next. Like, that to me is just legal jargon for, we just say forget about it. Like, and that is just a little bit, I mean, maybe for someone, if we're talking about, I don't know, I'll just pick up some random person, Dustin May or someone like that, maybe that's fine. You don't send the acquisition team all over it. But to me, when it comes to something like these products, like the Mosaic, that was like the chase card that year, the Mosaic 101 that he had, that somehow all of a sudden is on card, which they still don't even know, at least they won't say, if they do know, how he exactly even got that card in his possession to begin with, because it was a sticker autograph card. So he was never sent it to sign. No, they were on card, so it was sent with him, but apparently those Mosaic were all signed at a certain event. So I don't know. It's a little odd to me with some of the things going on. I do hope that after all of this, now that we do know that the flawless that have yet to be released yet, all those 101s are sitting on his table and signed. I do hope that at least forces Panini to make him maybe send those to him and get him in the actual product, because it would be a major disappointment to me if those ended up not making it into the product. I just do feel bad, because it has been shown that there were a couple of cards there that were not advertised to not be in the set.
Yeah.
And people were chasing them. People were spending a lot of money on them to chase them, and they weren't in there. And to me, I have a problem with that. It harkens back to when Jason Dean Martin and myself talked about it with Zach Ryder. He does it all the time to all of his cards. He basically kept every 1 of 1 and every 1 of 5 and every 1 of 10. Like, He kept all of his stuff, but the difference being Zack Ryder cards are $5 and these could end up being $500 grand.
Yeah, I mean, to play devil's advocate with the whole situation,
sure,
we got to face it. A player like Giannis has all the leverage when it comes to an autograph contract.
Absolutely.
So if Panini comes out and they try to make an example of Giannis and say, you can't do this, and these are the repercussions, and this is what's going to happen. Well,
you risk losing.
That player is going to talk.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a trickle-down effect, and you're going to have a point where no players are going to want to sign that contract.
Yeah.
And that's just going to make your job that much harder.
And that's where it gets so dangerous on what you actually do, because I mean, you want to make it known to collectors that you're doing as much as you can, but at the same time, like you said, you don't want to alienate everybody. We actually do have a caller on the line. We're going to bring him on now. We've got let's see if we can get him in here. We've got, if it'll let us add. Let's see. The person who is on here calling Tony, please allow access to your microphone or your video, and then I can add you into the chat, bud. But until then, do you have anything to add, Shep? Were you about to say something before I interrupted you with the phone call?
No, I just said that that makes it easy to talk to us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So just there we he disappeared. So if you do, try click it. Just to let you know, guys, you click the link, it'll ask you, do you give permission to the microphone? Do you give permission to the video? Give permission to whichever one you want, and then that's how you call in. And I'm posting the link once again right here into the chat. It's very simple. You can do it on your phone, computer, whatever. It does not matter. It's very simple. Big John should be calling in. I'm disappointed, but anyway, no, I agree with you. You got some people creeping in on the back. What's going on, Mojo Break fam? But it does make it difficult, man. You brought a really big point up. They hold all the leverage, and it almost puts them into a no-win situation. But if I could say anything, Panini had to be looking at that video and just going, no.
Oh yeah, I mean,
why?
It's the last thing for them that they want to see.
Sure.
I mean, but I do gotta. I mean, and I'll get your guys' opinion. We can basically. Have you guys seen the major media outlets that have run stories on cards in like the last 3 days? There was a ESPN top article on ESPN about the Connor McDavid 97 and 99. That was actually pulled by Jaspy's Hobbyland in Southern California. That was actually, I mean, we're talking like the 5th story down on ESPN's homepage. Huge story. I think it sold for like $125,000. And then I was watching TMZ last night, and they had a segment on the 03-04 LeBron James Exquisite Collection RPA number to 23.
Yeah.
I know in the quarantine we did see a lot of stories come up. Forbes magazine, I think, wrote a story. I think Fox Business wrote a story. Sports Illustrated wrote a story. But I can't think of a time in the last 10 years that has been even close to the amount of major media attention that this industry is getting.
Oh, absolutely. It's, Forbes for a little while, I will say, they've been doing a pretty good job of covering it, but it's never on the front page. It's always on the online blogs and stuff. It would hit that very back area. Ziggy, I see you on there. We'll pull you on in just one moment, buddy. But, I love seeing it hit the mainstream. You're seeing ESPN cover it like crazy. TMZ's covering it like crazy. You're seeing Barstool start to cover it. And you're seeing a lot of these guys that are covering it, whether they're telling you or not, I know for a fact just by talking to people, they're actively involved in this hobby as well. So you're starting to get people not only from the mainstream media talking about it and putting it out there for the rest of the world to see, they're actually putting their money where their mouth is too and getting into it, which I think is crucial almost for this hobby. It's something that can really, all it can do is help, but it's about time it started to get some recognition, because let's be honest, We've all seen what can happen. It's a thriving industry and something that people need to realize it's not what it once was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I know there's been a lot of money being brought into the industry.
Yes.
But when you're seeing all of these reports, I mean, yeah, sure, Darren Ravel tweets about it just because, one, it's a hobby of his, and he's kind of a sports reporter at that, too.
Right.
But I think that bringing the knowledge and the information into it, even if certain reporters could use a little bit more education themselves, like why a jersey number out of number might sell more, Connor McDavid, it's helpful to say it's
no. Absolutely, it has. And by the way, we are going to pull up here. That is the LeBron card that is for sale. It's expected to fetch for over $1 million at auction by Golden. It'll be interesting to see if it does. I think it goes way over that. Korean cardboard, what's going on? But let's bring in somebody who is a regular on the show. His son's not with him, I don't think, but we're going to bring him on in anyway. Mr. Ziggy No, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
How's it going, man? Absolutely.
I wanted to bring up real quickly, I don't know if you guys have been following, but Gary Vee tweeted 2 days ago a stack of Devin Booker PSA 10s. And if you look at PSA 10 Devin Booker today, they're up $200. $200. Now, raws have not jumped as much, but you're only going to see that happen again after 2 days of Gary Vee.
So wait, which cards did he promote? Which card? His silver prism? His silver?
No, it was the base Devin Booker Prism PSA 10.
Huh.
He also had the KD white tops working, and he just flashed a stack of them.
I think, and if I'm not mistaken, I was at 15-16. Is Devin Booker 15-16? Is he?
Yeah.
Same year as Towns, I think.
Yeah. And so what about it? What about it, Ziggy? What's up? What about?
No, so he flashed that, and the price has already gone up $200 in one day, right? So now everybody's going out to buy those cards. And if you look at the people following that, they saw the Giannis thing as great for the hobby. They didn't see it as collectors do, where he's hiding cards. They saw it as Giannis is promoting the hobby, that it's something cool and popular to be in. So I think media looked at the Giannis thing in two different ways. It wasn't that it was just negative. A lot of them looked at it as positive. I mean, it's all over TikTok. That's where he did it, and the TikTok followers are retweeting it or sharing it. They think it's exciting.
Well, I guess Dan, I'll let you go in and take this one first, since I was just showing some recent comps here, showing it has.
I mean, there's no doubt that Gary Vee has some pull. He has a lot of sneakerheads who follow him, and a lot of that new money, I think, that's coming to the industry is directly related to Gary Vee. Now, do I think that Devin Booker cards are a good investment? I think he's a volume shooter. I think he puts up good numbers, but he's on a bad team.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can look at there's a lot of players out that have been that same type of player who will put up a lot of points, but you put him on a good team. It comes down to championships and making a playoff.
Yes.
So I wouldn't invest in him. He's a good player.
Well, I mean, I would say that he was undervalued before. I would definitely say for his talent level, he was undervalued. He's in Phoenix, so that's going to hurt him right away. They are building something there with Ayton and everything, so I understand where the belief in Phoenix is that they are turning it around. I don't buy it, but that's the belief there. And so I can understand why some people might want to jump on that bandwagon as well. As far as Gary Vee saying that himself, I mean, we talk about it. It seems like every time he talks about a certain player, we end up talking about it a lot. And I just always harken back to there's nothing wrong with anything that he's saying. If the fact that people want to jump up and believe his stuff and go for it, maybe it works for him, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's helping all the people.
Quick question. I'm gonna drop off, guys.
These Devin Bookers that invested in him. I invested in him his rookie year. Yeah. What
do you guys think of Topps T206 set, the print-on-demand set? No one's talking about it, but it's similar to the Topps Project 2020. The first card should be shipping right now. The second wave is out, for sale. Any thoughts, comments? Is Mojo Break going to break them? I'll drop off, guys. Thank you.
Have a good one, buddy.
I'll tell you right now. Well, Mojo Break will not be breaking them, but it definitely could be something that would be good to hold on to. I think it's awesome. It came out at a time where everybody was like talking about Project 2020, and I feel that like that TO6 release kind of went under the radar because everybody had the Project 2020 fever and just trying to flip and seeing the market go insane. So there's a chance that TTO6 set just was heavily under order.
Yeah. Well, I love it. I ordered quite a few. I can't wait to get them. I think they're awesome. I think that's exactly what this print-on-demand stuff needs to be. I don't need 50 different of these weird, crazy, different sets that they do. Just a cool throwback little thing like this, I think, is awesome. Don't go overboard with it, and they didn't. The print run was around what I thought it would be. It was solid. They added some nice bonuses that when people were ordering, you didn't know you were going to be getting. So they're giving you extra stuff basically from what you were eventually ordering. I mean, I personally think it's an awesome thing. Do I think it's going to be something that's going to sell for 10 times the amount of what you bought for them? No, but I think it's a very fun thing where if you pull some nice rookies or something, get it graded, it pays for the set, you get the rest of them, and it's a neat little thing. That's my view on it. But I wanted to, if it's cool, man, I wanted to go back to Gary Vee for just a moment because we were talking about him, obviously he was saying Gary Vee spoke about Devin Booker and then all of a sudden Devin Booker cards went up. I mean, we talk about this, it seems like every single time, and it's true. They are going up by quite a bit. But as I said, in my opinion, he was criminally undervalued before. But I just see this as people either believing in the Suns turnaround or that Booker's leaving eventually, which is a very big possibility because he's disgruntled all the time. But I just see this as a bump from that quote unquote new money. And I'm not saying that in a bad way if Mr. Newman's watching from the hot tub, but I just think this is something where people latch on and a lot of people follow these influencers and what they say. And is that a bad thing? I don't think it is. I think it's no different than a lot of these other people that go on to YouTube channels that don't have as many followers, that claim to be geniuses in this industry, that have really no actual true background in it whatsoever. I mean, I see it as no different. People follow that advice as well. It's up to the consumer in the end to do their research, feel where they feel is the best value, and to go from there. I don't think that the Gary Vee effect, it's real, but I'm just tired of every single time he says something, it seems like there's a problem with it. That's what he's doing. He's not doing anything wrong. He's not pumping and dumping the stuff. The dude could make one appearance and make more than if he pumped and dumped 500 of them. So, I mean, I just don't see it.
I think you're right on. I think he does his research. He finds players that are undervalued in the hobby. He buys them up. Now, he shares that with people. He has a huge following, so people jump on, and they've seen consistent winners from him because he is getting in on players who are undervalued, or maybe a subset of a player who is undervalued. And people are watching that grow, so they're going to keep on following that protocol if it works. Now, it'll take a couple of them to not work, where people are going to start dropping off. Like, he didn't jump in on the Project 2020 train.
No.
And because that would have looked bad if he would have came in and went like, man, buy every Project 2020 you can buy at whatever value, and then just watch them go down. That would be bad optics but that's not what he's doing. He's finding players that are undervalued that he can get into relatively cheap. And as soon as he basically makes a statement that he is collecting that player, then his followers jump on board. And I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't think he's doing anything with like malicious intent or anything like that. I think he is sharing what he's doing with his following.
Yeah, look, let's face it, and Steph, feel free to jump in if you're still here and able to. I know you're in the middle of a couple things, but yeah, I honestly think it's him letting you know this is who he likes, and that's about it. If you choose to jump into it, that's great. If you choose not to, then that's great too. I mean, that's all that is to it, and I think people just make a little too much of it because he is. Let's face it, he is Gary V. But he did announce this week, and it looks like Devin Booker's finally getting some love. If you want to do that to Allen Iverson next time, Gary V., feel free. I would love that. But that's just my own personal opinion. But, yeah, I don't see anything too crazy about it. But we got a question here from Johnny75. If there's no baseball this year, how will that affect Topps releases like Update and Heritage High Number? And this is something that I'd like to hear from both of y'all because I have a couple things I want to say, but go right ahead first.
Sure. So I could see them almost doing not necessarily highlights because that's what they've done in the past. There's no highlights. Presuming there's no season, and it looks like they're trying to get one in.
Yeah.
I could see them doing prospect and rookie that would have debuted this season, or just pushing the release. It'd be unfortunate. I think it'd be the first release since 2009 that they haven't done an update. But I'd be more interested to see what happens in Series 1 next year.
Yes.
Assuming things rebound.
Now, explain to everybody why. Explain to everybody why right there, because a lot of people might not know exactly what you mean by that.
Sure. So say the season doesn't go on and there's no update for some reason. Well, then you have essentially a season and a half or two of people that are ready to debut, that haven't debuted, that need a product to be put in. So they're either going to be in Series 1 or Series 2. Or you could have someone that should have debuted now, like, say, Luis Robert or any of those other players. They get pushed because there wasn't a season now and get held back for update in 2021. Yikes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, Dan, what do you think? What do you think would happen with Heritage and Update if there is no season?
So we've already done our pre-orders for both releases.
Right.
Because of COVID and how everything got kind of pushed back, and now you're seeing like the spout is opened and it's just all coming out at the same time. I mean, we're having like releases on Wednesday and a release on Friday, and it's like going to be like that for the foreseeable future. Right. And with how hot the industry is, I can't see any release being taken off the table. They will adapt. They will figure it out. If anything, there's going to be more releases that are going to come out than less.
Yeah.
So they update. They may go back to the update highlight. They're going to revamp it somehow, but it will absolutely come out, and high number Heritage will absolutely come out. They'll do different like photo variations. They can do like they can figure it out. They will adapt and they will make it happen. Now, Series 1 going into next year, 2021 Series 1. If there's no season, again, I think they will be able to pivot and figure it out, but they're going to have to get real creative.
And see, this is where I think you're dead on right there, man. And I think this right here, even if they have a very small season, I think this is where they have a chance to really do something cool and really tweak, update, maybe even do some, maybe even scrap the name Update and move it along and do something different. Because let's face it, I don't even think if they put out Update this year that it would hold the same value to collectors 10 years from now as every other update, because it's you're going to get those people that look at it as not a true update because there wasn't a season. I look at this as an opportunity. You've already got the chance. Do something different with this. You could do something really fun. You could do something really short printed, since Update's always the most short printed of all of them anyway. You don't have to do as much as you want. I think Topps has a chance to do something really cool here with Heritage High Number as well. But I hope they don't try and just push it out and just make something up to try and do it and keep the same name, because I just don't think it'll hold that same. I don't think it'll hold that same value 10 years from now in collectors' eyes.
Well, I mean, the pre-sale numbers that Topps is getting right now for update and a high number and anything coming out, it's still getting allocated. The numbers that are coming out are super inflated. Every breaker, every shop, everybody, online retailer, they're maxing out their pre-orders as much as they can go. Because if you don't, you're not going to get allocated the product that you really want. You're not going to get allocated the Bowman Draft 2020 and stuff like that. So, like, theoretically, Topps as a company, I think, is still print to order. So if you had, I'd throw a hypothetical number out there, like, 20,000 cases of update that has already been printed. They're not going to leave that money on the table. They're going to make sure an update comes out because they're not going to lose that revenue. I mean, no big company right now is trying to leave revenue on the table, especially in the times that we're in.
No, absolutely not. And so I know you being a breaker and one of the biggest breakers in the industry, really, you guys work hand in hand and get a lot of the information on these products, ahead of time or at least as soon as possible. Have you heard, this is something I get asked a lot, and this is the better time than ever than now to ask, have you heard anything along the lines with COVID and with Card Monday and GCI having to be shut down for so long? Have you heard anything about them having to cut products? Because there have been rumors that Panini and Topps would be cutting a couple of products. But like you just said, there's no real – they're not going to leave money on the table, especially when everything's thriving. But I'm also noticing a lot more of these, like we were just talking about, Bowman Sapphire. A lot of these print on demand, these specialty ones that are printed at their printing presses down in Florida, as opposed to the ones that were shut off. Have you heard anything about any big releases being, delayed, postponed, or anything along those lines?
I have not heard anything being scrapped, minus I think a WWE product.
That's all right.
That was pulled off the board. But I mean, they're coming out with Topps Chrome Black with that, and I think and that was that. I think that was an old. They had a Topps Black and a Topps Gold back in the day, but they're coming out with a like a black chrome, chrome, something like that. So, like, if anything, they're going to be adding releases. I think the only thing is if they shut down the facilities again and we have another stay-at-home order in Texas, which could, who knows? I mean, the way it's going right now, Texas, Florida, California, not going in the right direction. So I think that could affect it, but I actually don't think, I have not heard that any baseball, basketball, or football release being taken off the board and not released.
Well, and I can certainly speak for Dallas County here. They've instituted masks mandatory. Yeah. And I don't think they've done stay-at-home orders just yet. So production should still be coming out, but it's going to be interesting depending on how the cases spread out. I mean, it looks like they're going back to what we had issue in April and March, but we're not quite there yet. So production should still come out.
Yeah, and I know that the what are the two
Card Monday and GCI.
Yeah, so they were basically working at, and this is why 2020 Bowman was shipped out in waves, because they were working at like half of capacity. They couldn't have the full staff in there
because they wouldn't allow them to move over to their plants in the other states.
Yeah, so
they were stuck. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why, because everybody was like, "Oh man, like all the Dominguez is going to be in the second wave." If anything, we got.
For real.
It was about a 1 week delay. It was just the fact that they couldn't get the trucks loaded fast enough with the amount of product.
All right, here's something I didn't think about wanting to talk about on this show, but I've got to ask now. Okay, so we're talking about products and everything being released, and obviously Finest just came out. And during Finest, one of the people that was advertised was Jason Dominguez, obviously. You assume Jason Dominguez autographs would possibly be in there. But so far, none have surfaced throughout all of Finest. do you think he is the mystery player in this year's set? Does that almost guarantee it, do you think? Or
I don't think so. That is a historically is not a prospect.
Right. That's what I.
So
I
think there's a tops. If you have a major league debut, or if you're not on the 40-man roster, you can't be put in a tops label.
Right.
Set. You can be put in a Bowman set, but you can't be put in a top set if you're not on the 40-man roster.
Right. And that's where I was a little confused of, but from what I was being told and what I was being looked at is that with everything going on this year, they were altering, how they were putting things out. I mean, Topps has already seemed to be twisting things around with Jordan and everybody last year. But regardless, I just wanted to see if you'd heard anything about it at all.
At least on our breaks and the way we priced the Yankees, we were assuming that Jason Mingus would not be in the product.
Right.
Assuming that he would not be a mystery redemption. If I had to say who a mystery redemption would be, and I'm not 100% sure if he's alive, I would say it would be Luis Robert.
Yeah, that's
what I would say. It's usually players who have not made their major league debut yet, but are on the 40-man roster who theoretically are going to, because I think Bellinger one year was like, he was, I think Jock Peterson, another Dodger, I think was a mystery redemption. Yeah. But it's always a player who is on the 40-man and is on the cusp.
It was Luis. It was Rodriguez that I was thinking of. You just answered it perfectly. It was Rodriguez that I was thinking of. That he was advertised as having autos in the product, but none have been shown. None have been found yet.
Yeah.
He's probably a mystery.
He's the guy that I would say, if I had to bet, I would say 85%. I'm sure that Luis Robert would be the number one mystery redemption. But you never know. Yeah, you never know. But that would be a pretty strong speculation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, going off of Johnny 75's question, and guys, please, we got about 13, 15 minutes. Please call in any questions you have, any comments, anything, especially with this last question I have right here. This goes out to everybody. And that is, of course, if we don't have Major League Baseball, I'm convinced, apparently he does already have an autograph in finance, so it's not Robert. It doesn't matter. Who knows who it's going to be this year then. If we don't have a baseball season this year, which it's looking like if we have one, it's going to be very weird. It's going to be very different. I don't know exactly what's going to go on. What do you see? Do you see the prospect market in particular? How do you think the prospect market, which really is what revitalized baseball, let's be honest, baseball collecting was kind of dead a little bit, and then prospecting became a huge thing. First Bowman's kind of started becoming a huge thing, and it became, prospecting brought it back to the rookie chase again, and then it got to where we are now. What do you see happening if we don't have this season, especially when it comes to prospectors? Shep? Steph, you there?
Yeah. Sorry, I stepped away.
No, you're good, buddy.
What you got?
Oh no,
I'll take it. So the prospecting, unlike any other category when it comes to like collecting basketball, football, the baseball speculation, you're always in it for the long play because a lot of these players get drafted out of high school. They're going to go through the farm system for 2 to 3 years. So essentially, they're going to always hold their value until you see what they can do in the majors. Unless they and a lot of the top prospects, if they are, like I said, a top guy, they're not going to struggle that bad in the minors. They're usually a top pick for a reason. They usually perform pretty well in single A, double A. Now, the key is them making that jump from double A to the majors. You don't want them in year 3, year 4 to be in triple A. Triple A is kind of where you go when you're going to be a career minor leaguer, and you might get a cup of coffee here and there, but you're not a guy, you're not like a blue chip prospect that they're going to try to build a franchise around.
Right.
So you do have about that 3-year window when it comes to prospects. Don't see that going anywhere. As long as we keep on having an MLB draft, I hate to say it, we don't need a season. There's always going to be people who are going to speculate on the next big prospect, the next all-star guy who's going to come out and, change the way baseball is played. So I think everybody is safe on the prospect train.
Yeah, I agree with that to some extent. I kind of liken it to everything right here with the COVID and everything with Zion and Ja. The hype never really died down. I mean, something may slow it for a little bit, but it's not going to cause it to come to a standstill. It's not going to make people forget about it. Like 1 Million Cubs Project said so well, prospecting will still strive. There's always going to be a new shiny object, which is a perfect way of putting what, in my opinion, prospecting is. Steph?
Well, and he's definitely not wrong. I mean, with Panini having the Team USA license, you have some of these guys that are coming out as 12, 14-year-olds having cards. And yeah, sure, a good chunk of them are going to span out. Some will get injured in high school or college and just won't get drafted. Now, that happens. But I mean, prospecting is a huge part of, especially in baseball, the industry. And it's unlike any of the other sports where if you get drafted in basketball or hockey, you're looking to be starting in at least a year or two. Football, even more so. It's the what have you done for me lately? Whereas baseball is more of a outside of the first round guys, and even then, there's taking 2 or 3 years. It may take a few years for these guys to develop.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
So there's that buffer there that I think you're protected when it comes to prospecting. Mm-hmm. Now, where I think not having a season can hurt, it's the vets, and not like the Mike Trouts.
Yes.
Mike Trout's always gonna sell. Yeah. But young players that are on the come up, like maybe a Kyle Lewis, like he used Eloy, Kyle Lewis, like guys who like are going to lose a year and not be able to put up any numbers, and their hobby value may go down. Like Pete Alonso, his value may go down because he doesn't have a year. Acuna may not go down, but may flatten out a little bit. Definitely won't go up. So I think what you're going to see is like the vets you may have either may go down or be stagnant. Definitely not going to go up. So that's my only thing about not having a baseball season.
And another one that I wanted to bring out, think about guys like Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols.
Yep.
Miguel Cabrera is currently tied for 30th on the all-time home run list.
Yeah.
I think he's like 20 shy of hitting 500. Does he get that now?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a good question, and I mean that's what a lot of
477. So yeah, 23.
Wow. Yeah. So see, I mean, there's so many things at play, and so many things that could be altered here, in the coming times.
Yeah, and that's a huge deal because that can be a difference between being a Hall of Famer and not being a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Yeah.
You get to the 500 home run club, you should theoretically make the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
With a couple of players that like probably will never get in because steroids and
reasons.
Whatnot, but yeah, I mean, if he ends up with 477 home runs, definitely won't be a first ballot Hall of Famer at that point. Maybe Cabrera because he did hit the Triple Crown, so he has that to fall back on. But yeah, I mean, there's players at the twilight of their career trying to pad their stats that could be the difference of getting into the Hall of Fame and not getting into the Hall of Fame. So like losing a year is a huge deal.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, best case scenario right now, we're losing half a season. Like, I mean, we're not going to play 162 games this year. No. That is out of the question. It's not going to happen. But
I think the recent proposal is 60 games.
60 games. Yeah. But my thing is that with all sports leagues, we basically are pushing back the 2020 season already. Like, no matter what. Like, basketball is not going to start their season in October. Hockey isn't going to start in October. Baseball, if they end up starting having extended, they're not going to start in April.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's at least we get football soon. At least football looks like it's going to it looks like it's going to start on time. It's going to look weird. But But, at least football looks like it's going to thrive. And what do you guys think, before we end the show? I guess we'll end it on this. With football starting up pretty soon and being the one sport it looks like that's not having a ton of stuff really affecting it. Football lucked out. It kind of happened right when everything was over with football. So they were able to still conduct everything almost, normal. Do you think this is going to cause the football market, which has always been, let's face it, I mean, it's next to hockey is well below the basketball and baseball market. Do you see football thriving this year because of, the fact that they're the ones that get to return first, combined with, let's face it, an incredible rookie class? Do you think this could be the year that maybe football gets a little extra love that it normally doesn't?
I think even without COVID, football was going to have a great year based on the fact how many quarterbacks that are coming out or have come out who are drafted, quarterbacks that are going to start right away. I mean, Tua is probably not going to start right away, but you definitely have Burrows who's going to start in Cincinnati. Solid rookie class. My only issue with how well football is going to do is how are they going to do the rookie premiere? I know Panini's already working on it, but what are those cards going to look like? What are those autographs going to look like? What are those relics going to look like? Is the hobby going to take to it? There's going to be a lot of photoshopping. I think we've already had a discussion about that. They're maybe taking
Origins looked good. They did a good job with the photoshopping on Origins. I'll give them that.
Yeah, but I think what we're going to see is a lot of college photos from these players with, airbrushed, Photoshop jerseys and whatnot. And we may see a lot of sticker autos. We may see more sticker autos this year than we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I think this was going to be a great year for football anyway. I think it's going to be, and football's had some really good years, but I think this is going to be the best year. Maybe 2016 with Dak and
Zeke and everybody.
And Goff and Wentz. I mean, that was huge.
Yeah.
17, actually, when we were breaking 17 wasn't a big year for us. It didn't really get really big until
that was not an in-demand product then. Nope. I completed the whole Hollow set 1 through 300 in no time, easily, not expensive at all.
Yeah, I mean, we were it was tough to fill contenders breaks in 2017. Think about that now. I mean, contenders box is like probably $1,500 a box.
Yeah. And I agree with Paul right here. I think, with what you said with sticker autos and stuff, and I think autographs in general are going to be hard to get. So I do think you're going to see stuff like Prism and Optic and those parallels. And this is what I love, and I can't wait till we start getting back to this, where some of that stuff holds a little more weight and a little more value than just chasing the ink. So, if there's one thing good that can come out of this, maybe that's it.
And I certainly think that the NBA is much better positioned than the other sports, and just based on where their season ended and where the season starts.
Yeah,
that's undeniable.
Yeah,
I'd love to see with this rookie class whether they compete to Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, not senior but junior. It should be interesting. I mean, you can argue Photoshop or signatures. Personally, if the athletes are signing stickers anyway, as long as you have a way to authenticate that, send them a sheet of stickers. I mean, put a disclaimer on the back. Unfortunately, unable to authenticate due to COVID-19.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, guys, it is about that time. So if there's anything, you guys good? Everybody good with their thing? I do want to announce, guys.
Stay safe.
Yes. And I also do want to announce our giveaway this week. Shep's going to be doing a standalone giveaway tomorrow. He wanted to let me have all you guys know he is going to do a standalone. Well, okay. I don't know exactly what's happening here. StreamYard's literally going crazy on us right here. But anyway,
I'm all, Drew, where are you going?
Yeah, I have no clue. It was doing it by itself for fun. But anyway, maybe Shep's messing with me in the background. But Shep is doing a standalone presentation tomorrow where he will announce the winner of the giveaway. So make sure you do still have a little bit of time left. So make sure if you have not gotten in yet, you still got a little bit of time. So jump in. But he will be doing the giveaway tomorrow. So
and thank you guys for donating. Those very generous.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. That was awesome. But till Saturday, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Monday Night Heat. We will see you guys next time.
Yep, see you guys then.
Yes, you guys have a good evening.